Morning. Check out this cup. America. So yesterday, we got here at this truck stop, and a friend of mine saw I was here, so he pulled up, and we were door to door, just chatting. And this other driver comes up to us, and this frail old man, looked like he had about maybe an ounce of fat on him. He looked very skeletal, and you can tell he's had a tired life, and he bumps the cigarette off my friend that was that I was chatting with, and he proceeded to tell us about how miserable he was and how miserable his company was making him. And this guy didn't have any money. He was bumming a cigarette because he didn't have any money. And the short gist of it is that he's been with this company for 8 years. Now, this is a company out of Springfield, not Prime, but somebody else. They slip seat their OTR drivers. In other words, every time you come to the yard, you get, and you go home, and then you come back, you get a new truck. You get a different truck, not a new one, but a different one. That's how this company operates. And so we started talking about that because, I'm from Springfield, so, trying to create small talk here. And he proceeded to tell us how he'd been this company 8 years and how miserable he was. Just they do this and they do that, and the truck's doing this and the APU's doing that, and I can't do this and I can't do that. I stay home. I stay out 3 weeks at a time because I don't want to get into a different truck, and it minimizes how I get into the truck, the slip seat thing and all this stuff, right? It's just talking about how miserable he was. And mind you, he lives in the area. He lives just south of Springfield. So I told him, I said, well, I know a company, out of Springfield. I could probably get you on there, I go, have you heard of Transland? He's like, oh yeah, I've heard of them, I think. I'm like, I was there 6 years, very happy. They'll take care of you, and they're gonna put you in a new truck, and you're gonna stay in it for at least 2 or 3 years. Oh no, I can't. No. Suddenly the tune changed about his company. And it was like, there was a video I watched from a channel called Ascension Presents talking about, do you want to be well? And it's amazing if you he talked about this part of the Bible where Jesus asked this crippled man if he wants to be well, and everybody's like, why would you ask such a silly question? Of course this crippled guy wants to be well. But the problem is that some people don't want to be well. In other words, their misery is their comfort zone. And I remember, going to Hunts Point with my dad in New York City there, and some of the conditions were just like, wow, I can't believe people live like this at times, And my dad, he goes, Steve, there are people that you give them a house out in the country and they won't take for free, and they won't take it to get them out of here. But they want to. That's their comfort zone. And truck drivers especially are bad about that. They gripe about the company, and then they never leave, not knowing that sometimes the grass is greener on the other side. And I get it, it's tough to change and all this stuff, but the guy had no money. He was miserable. He wasn't eating well, you could tell that, because he was talking about all the canned goods in the truck, and he doesn't eat at the truck stops, but yet he didn't look healthy. Eight years of misery, and he could be at a better company, literally right down the road from this place where he's at, and he'd be in a new truck, his truck. They have inverters and APUs and nice trucks, right? They take care of you, and you make money, more money than you make at the company he was at. You wanted no part of it. And I know people come and talk to you, they don't want answers. They just want to tell you how miserable they are, but they don't want you to give them answers, because that, the psychology of that is that tells them that you see their weakness. That reminds themselves of their own weakness, or what's holding them back. But people sometimes are afraid of change, even if it's for the better. And it's kind of sad, because it's kind of, what did Provost say in my live feed the other day? Fear is the thief of dreams. It's crazy to think about, but I think all of us, in a way, hang on to a certain amount of misery because it's a comfort zone, it's a box. It's easier. For this guy, it was easier just to gripe about the company and just waller in that misery versus, creating a change, especially in the late stages of his life. I mean, this guy had to have been in his upper 60s. And I get it, change sometimes isn't worth it, but it's like, I kind of picture, what's this guy going to do when he gets out of the truck, He won't know what to do with himself, because some he's an old timer, driver, and some of these drivers have been out here so long that they don't know anything else. You put them in a happy, positive, non-driving situation, it'll blow their minds, because they won't know what to do with themselves. They don't know the world outside. They've been out here for so long, they have no grasp of what civilian, for lack of a better term, life is like. But some people just want to waller in their misery, I think we all do that to a certain degree, because change is hard. It really is. Anyways, these are my thoughts this morning. Enjoy your coffee, and if you don't drink coffee, what's wrong with you? See ya.